Hey, what's up, guys? Matt here. Welcome to another weekly update, right? Yes, I did a weekly update last week, and now it's time to talk about the books that I've read and am going to read. Okay, so I did finish and I don't have my tablet right now, it's upstairs, but I did finish The Prophet of Edan. This book is the second book in the Edan Trilogy. And Philip Chase, don't fail me. I want to see the other books titled in here. You didn't fail me, Philip Chase. I failed myself because I did not have the book with me. Either way, I'll leave it in the link below. But this is not the book that I read. I read The Prophet of Edan by Philip Chase, the second book in the Edan Trilogy, and oh my, was it epic. Now, I love epic fantasy, as you can see if you've watched my channel some, and if you've taken a look at my Goodreads and such. I love epic fantasy, and The Prophet of Edan is epic fantasy. Oh my gosh, it was awesome. It is not a spoiler to say this book deals with dragons. I'll say that. It's on the cover, on the back cover. And there is a conversation that occurs between a dragon and a human. And wow, did I not realize that I have such an affinity for conversations with dragons and humans. What am I talking about? Talking about Smaug and The Hobbit. I didn't realize that I had such an affinity for conversations with humans and dragons. And I got that in The Prophet of Edan, and wow, was it. It just made my heart feel so full. It was so much fun to read a conversation, and I keep harping on this, but read a conversation between a dragon and a human. Oh, it was awesome. This book is awesome. I'll leave a link to the reviews of the trilogy by Kronk the Book Guy. I watched his video prior to completing the trilogy. I've still not completed the trilogy. And he had incredible aspects to this. He had incredible insights into the story that I am totally picking up on, about the realism of the story. Each battle is important, but it doesn't blow the story out of the water by each battle. Each battle is important. They are real battles. It is the realism that makes this world so lived in. The Prophet of Edan brings the world to life. You have different races and different races and people groups, and different parts of the world are all being touched in the story. Oh my gosh. I could gush and gush about the Edan Trilogy, and I'm gonna stop right now and leave my review below for The Prophet of Edan. But that means I'm going to be moving on to Return to Edan, which is book 3 in the series, next. However, I did read 2 books this week. 3 books. 4 books. Oh my gosh. I don't know how many books I've read. But I've read a few books. So, after I finished The Prophet of Edan, I did finish also the Mark Twain autobiography. So good, too. My goodness. It's been a really fun reading week for me. A reading month, really. I've read 5 books this month. But the Mark Twain autobiography was just superb. I loved it. I really appreciate his writing. As I mentioned in the last video, I am gearing up to read Ron Chernow's biography of Mark Twain. So yeah, I read that, and it's great. I really love the way he writes And I really appreciated this autobiography because I've been reading biographies, but this autobiography was really neat because he wrote it at the end of his life. So he would tell stories and then say, Mr. I don't know his name. And then in a footnote, it would say Mr. Foreman in 1909 or whenever he wrote that part. So it's just really cool. It was kind of going back and forth, and it's just really neat. I really, really liked the autobiography of Mark Twain. I also read Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. The play, I read it through my Kindle on Prime Reading or something like that. It was 190 pages. It was really, really cool. I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I think I've probably seen the Leonardo DiCaprio Romeo and Juliet, but this was straight up play, act 1, act 2, scene 2. It was really neat to see. And wow, what a tragedy that was. Man, it was really good. Really good. So Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. I have his other works. I did read Hamlet last year. At the end of last year, I read Hamlet. Just because I was in a in-between series that I was reading, and I read Hamlet last year. But Romeo and Juliet is great. Great stuff. So that was Prophet of Edan, Mark Twain autobiography, and Romeo and Juliet, and The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. I did finish The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, and wow, what a fun little story. It really brought some nostalgia back for me. If you've ever read Tom Sawyer, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, it's The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. He was a young boy in Mississippi in the 1800s, and it is just a delight to read. I think Mark Twain's writing got better in his autobiography than in this. This was one of his first published books. I know he's got a laundry list of published books, but so this was the first real Mark Twain book that I've read, and this was written in the 1870s, so it's been a while since this was written, but it's really great. I really enjoyed it. It's been a good week to read, but also I really like what the rest of the world has done with taking The Adventures of Tom Sawyer as inspiration. Last year I read The Diary of a Wimpy Kid to my son, and I can really see the inspiration from Diary of a Wimpy Kid and Tom Sawyer, because Tom Sawyer is basically just going through little adventures, little bite-sized adventures of this boy, Tom Sawyer, and it's fun. It's fun. Now, there was some talk of these books being banned, and I'm not going to say much about that. There were a few. The hard R was in there of the N-word, and if you want to talk to me about that, we can have a conversation in the comments. But I didn't. I kind of want to shy away from that conversation. But I really enjoyed The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. That's what I read. Okay. I might take a little break from reading for a couple days, but I will be reading I will be reading Return to Edan in the Edan Trilogy from Philip Chase, and we'll just see what happens. I might read Wicked or something like that in between finishing Return to Edan. I'll probably finish it next week, or I'll at least start it next week, Return to Edan, or maybe even tonight. I might start it tonight. Who knows? But yeah, there you go. This is a stamp that my wife gave me for Christmas last year. Not 2 years ago now. From the library of Matthew Bramer. Or maybe it was my birthday. My wife's so great. She's so great. From the library of Matthew Bramer. I stamp all my books after I finish them. Okay, that's my weekly update. I hope you guys enjoyed. I would love to talk to you in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys have a great day. Peace!